Welcome. Today we're going to look at heart blocks. When an atrioventricular node is unable to transmit electrical impulses normally, it results to a development of what is known as an atrioventricular block, which is visible on an electrocardiogram rhythm. A block in an atrioventricular node also results in problems related to impulse transmission from the atria to the ventricles. There are varying degrees of atrioventricular blocks, with more advanced type having very severe consequences on health, such as bradycardias, and may also progress to the development of cardiac arrest. We have a number of types of heart blocks. That is the first degree heart block, second degree type 1 and type 2, and then we have a third degree heart block or a complete heart block. Let's start with the first degree heart block. In this heart block, there is a delay in the transmission of impulses through the atrioventricular node, which lies between the atria and the ventricles. Remember, from the electrophysiology, the normal transit time of a P wave to the atrioventricular node is usually a 0.12 to a 0.20 seconds. This duration is known as PR interval. In first degree atrioventricular block, there is a prolongation of this PR interval greater than 0.2 seconds. Although there is a delay, something important for you to know that is that the transmission time is consistent throughout the electrocardiogram. In other words, all the PR intervals are consistently the same and in an elongated or with a duration of more than 0.20 seconds, and they are always followed by a QRS complex. What is the consequence or what are the implications of a patient having first degree heart block? Basically, a first degree heart block is benign in nature and it resolves by its own. The atrioventricular node takes longer to relay the impulses to the rest of the conduction pathway of the heart's conductive system, and is normally caused by digitalis or digoxin therapy and other drugs, for example, beta blockers. As well, it could be a good sign or indicator of digoxin toxicity. The next type of heart block is the second degree atrioventricular block or second degree heart block. Anytime you see a P wave that is not followed by a QRS complex, there's an indication of an advanced type of atrioventricular block known as either second degree or a third degree heart block. This becomes the hallmark for identification of these heart blocks. Anytime you have a P wave that is not followed by a QRS complex, you automatically know this is not a first degree heart block. It is either a second or a third degree heart block. There are two types of second degree heart blocks, and their mechanism as well as implications are different from each other in as much as they're known as second degree heart block. Another term that we use to distinguish these two types is Mobitz I and Mobitz II. Let's start with the first one, the Mobitz I second degree heart block or Wenckebach. In this type of heart block, the mechanism of conduction disturbance is related to the structural abnormality of the atrioventricular node itself. So, there is a gradual prolongation of the PR interval that leads to a non-conducted PR interval. In short, the P wave is not followed by the QRS complex following the longest PR interval sequence. Let's suppose of this analogy to help you understand better on the Mobitz type 1. Assume that you have an assistant who you sent to buy a drink from a store that is a half a block away. It might take that person 10 minutes to go and return with the drink. However, if you add another request, maybe to go and buy a bag of chips, Being a good assistant, they will return to the store again. However, at this time, they will return slightly longer time. They will take a slightly longer time for them to return, which is approximately like 15 minutes, longer than what they took in the first round. On his return again, you ask him to buy a chocolate from the same store. At this point, they're tired, and it may take them even longer to return, perhaps 18 minutes. Then, as soon as he returns, you ask them to return again. This time, they may refuse and flatly say no because they're tired. Now, let's apply to this Mobitz I. So, in the second degree Mobitz I type of heart block, the P waves are not followed by QRS complex, and in examining the PR interval, there is a pattern of prolongation until there is a P wave that falls and fails to be conducted. The PR interval keeps on elongating until there is a failure of a P wave to be conducted. Some of the characteristics of a Mobitz I or a second degree heart block type 1 is the ventricular rate may be slow, normal, or fast, and arterial rate is within the normal range. Remember, we're just having an AV node issue here. In terms of regularity, there is an irregularity in the rhythm, and the P waves are present and normal. However, not all of them are followed by the QRS complex. The QRS complex is normal in this case, and the PR interval is the one that progressively becomes longer until the QRS complex is dropped, and then the cycle again repeats again. The QT interval is usually within normal limits. Let's look at the implications, causes, and treatment of the second degree heart block. The AV node becomes progressively slower over time in conducting the cardiac impulses until such a time that it's no longer able to conduct any impulses to the ventricle. This type of heart block is a transient rhythm that is not considered as a serious rhythm and resolves spontaneously. And for you to understand better, as we said earlier, the pathology of this type of heart block is located in the atrioventricular node, and therefore the normal conduction to the bundle branches results in the presence of a normal QRS complex that has a normal duration and normal structure. It is usually caused by ischemia to the cardiac muscles, an increased vagatone, or some medications, for example, digitalis, beta blockers, and some cases of hyperkalemia. So whenever you're asked about the consequences of hyperkalemia in patients, we could be able to see a Mobitz I. When a patient has a second degree heart block and they are symptomatic, which is usually they may be associated with issues of bradycardia, we may treat this one with atropine or dopamine or a external transthoracic pacing. So let's move to the second type of secondary atrioventricular block, known as the classical heart block, or Mobitz type 2. In this type of heart block, the pathology is in the band of His and the Purkinje system. This is quite a serious type of block, which has a potential to progress to even a complete heart block, which is a third degree heart block, and even a systole when the heart stops beating. The type is usually managed through an insertion of a pacemaker. In this case, there are P waves that are not followed by a QRS complex. You remember what we said, the hallmark of second and third degree atrioventricular blocks? The P waves which are not followed by a QRS complex. And it differs from type 1 or Mobitz type 1 in a way that the PR intervals here are consistent. You remember in Mobitz type 1, we have a continuous prolongation of the PR interval. And in this type, in the Mobitz II, we have all P waves which results in a QRS complex and are conducted in a consistent time duration. Therefore, we can say we have fixed or identical PR intervals, right? This one is a serious arrhythmia which may progress to a complete heart block or a systole, like we've said. And we always need an emergency pacemaker to manage this type of patients. It is usually caused by a myocardial infarction, particularly which happens to the anterior wall, or a degeneration in the conduction system of the heart. Some symptoms which may be associated with this type of a block are like bradycardias and a decreased cardiac output. And whenever we have a patient with suspected or confirmed second degree heart block, we manage it with an insertion of a pacemaker and the use of vasopressors to support the heart rate and the blood pressure. Some of the characteristics of these type of block is that the rhythm can be either regular or irregular, and the heart rate is usually slow with features of bradycardia. And we may be having 2, 3, or 4 P waves before each QRS complex, and these are usually identical in terms of duration. The third degree atrioventricular block is a type of a complete heart block where there is absolute disassociation between the atrium and the ventricles' cardiac activity. The ventricles are beating independently of the atrial activity. In other words, the usual wave of depolarization from the atria to the ventricles is completely lost. That's why we call it a complete heart block. With the failure of the atrioventricular node to transmit impulses, the ventricles beat at their inherent rate. Do you know the inherent rate of the ventricles? Maybe you can tell us in the comments below. This condition usually results in a decreased cardiac output. Remember, the ventricles are not beating at the normal rates. The patient in this case may lose consciousness, and an ECG pattern indicating a third degree heart block requires immediate emergency action. Some characteristics of a third degree heart block that you may need to know are that when you look at the rate, the ventricular rate may be slow, either normal or fast, and atrial rate is within the normal range. You remember that? In terms of regularity, the atrial rhythm and ventricular rhythms are regular, but they're not related to one another. And the P waves are present and normal. They're not related to the QRS complex. Remember, there is a disassociation between the atria and the ventricular activity. We actually cannot measure the PR interval, and the QRS complex is normal, even escape focus is junctional. And lastly, the QT interval may or may not be within the normal limits. You remember we said there is a complete loss of the ability to transmit electrical impulses between the atria and the ventricle. The P waves do not have any relationship with the QRS complex because, and maybe they can be evidenced by the variable and inconsistently PR intervals. With this type of heart block, we may progress to systole and a ventricular standstill, and it is known to occur because of a myocardial infarction, particularly in the inferior wall or the anterior wall of the heart. Sometimes we can see this condition in digitalis toxicity and Lyme disease. We treat this one with dopamine or epinephrine, or the use of external transthoracic pacing or a pacemaker. Lastly, in summary of whatever we have looked at, we said the key identifying features of atrioventricular block in the second and third degree is an examination of the PR interval. Its characteristic can be able to tell you which type of block we are having. For example, in a first degree heart block, we have a fixed and prolonged PR interval. But in the second degree, Mobitz type 1, we have a gradually prolonging PR interval until one of the P waves is not followed by the QRS complex, and then the cycle continues. When we look at the second degree or Mobitz II, we have a fixed PR interval that is fixed in all those that are conducted. And lastly, a third degree heart block or a complete heart block has a variable PR intervals.